Hello, good morning. Hey, do you know which is the absolute best day of the week? Can you guess that one? It's Wednesday, man. It's hump day. It's the middle of the week. That's the absolute best day of the week. You know, most people, they start the week off with Monday morning blues. Well, not you and I, right? Monday comes and we're in beast mode, right? We're attacking it. We're after it. And we get into our full stride by Tuesday. And then we kind of look up, man, and it's hump day. We're right there where we are today, right now, at the hump. We're looking over and we can see the finish line, right? And that's part of the reason why we get together, today, so we can help each other. We can give each other that little bit of oomph, that little motivation that we need to kind of get to the end, right? I don't know about you, but over the weekend, I had a lot of fun this weekend. But one of the things that I did was that I watched one of my favorite shows on TV, Undercover Boss. Who else likes Undercover Boss? I really like that show because there are so many lessons in it. You know, there's definitely some business lessons. There are leadership lessons. There are man management lessons. That's a term going back to my army days, man management. There's definitely some personal management lessons there. There are lessons on patience. There are lessons on communication. You know, definitely you have to, you learn as I watch that's so important to listen. And I definitely love the human interest stories. I'm a sucker for human interest stories, man. And that show has lots of human interest stories. Perhaps my favorite part of that show, though, is at the end when you have the big reveal, right? When the CEOs finally reveal to the employees who they truly are. And it's kind of humorous sometimes to see how shocked, how surprised they are that, oh my God, I'm sorry I was treating you so poorly. I made you do all this work. You know, of course, some of them do notice that right away that, oh yeah, you were John or you were Mary, right? No, you're the CEO. But the piece that really warms my heart is to see the giant smiles on their faces, and to kind of imagine how different their lives are going to be. You know, when the CEO, show their generosity, show their kindness and gift them with, either an opportunity in the company or a significant sum of money, just to see how their faces light up, man. I mean, it's a tearjerker, right? Not that I cry, but it's emotional. You know what I mean, right? But yeah, that part really warms my heart, and but it kind of saddens me as well. You know why? Because in almost every episode, there's at least one employee who, yes, obviously overcome with gratitude. They're just so grateful for the generosity and the kindness of the boss. And oftentimes in between wiping away tears, they say something like, things like this just don't happen to people like me. I mean, isn't that sad, man? Things like this don't happen to people like me. And, by all accounts, these are good, decent people, right? They're hardworking, they're industrious, they're conscientious, and the boss is just rewarding them for their contribution and their hard work, in part. That he's rewarding them for that, for their loyalty to the company. But he also sees, or she sees, a genuine need that these people have and wants to fill that need. And they feel like they're not deserving of it, right? They feel, as they say, like things like this doesn't happen to people like me. What does that mean? Why are they so undeserving? What in the world do they mean by people like me? I mean, have you ever wondered about that? I mean, it's really sad, right? And, you know, a couple of weeks ago, I asked you guys, you know, if you wanted to be successful. And I imagined that there was this collective rolling of the eyes, and you were probably screaming at the screen and going, of course I want to be successful. Who doesn't want to be successful? What kind of stupid question is that? Right? And I'm sure that if I asked you if you believed you were worthy and if you were deserving of goodness in your life, I'd probably get a similar reaction, right? There would be this emphatic, yes, of course I believe I'm worthy. Of course I believe I deserve goodness and success in my life. And you know what, man? I'm really pleased to hear that. I'm really happy to hear that you believe that about yourself, because interestingly enough, or unfortunately enough, a lot of people don't feel that way. A lot of people don't feel that way. And for those, or some of those who actually believe that they are deserving of goodness, don't always believe that they deserve goodness in their lives. Isn't that something? You know, and what I think it is that it probably has something to do with our past, right? You know, you look, and many of us have had these experiences and these situations that subconsciously is impacting us, but we didn't realize it then, that it would have this kind of impact on us. And so today it's influencing our current outlook on life. You know, so for example, it might be that you had parents who were just hard asses, for want of a better term. They probably treated us poorly. They said some really mean things to us. You know, you'll never amount to anything, you know, or you'll never amount to nothing. You know, and maybe at the time we brushed it off and go, oh, whatever, you know, not realizing that it was actually affecting us. We started to believe it, and it really started to impact the way we saw ourselves, you know. Or maybe you were teased and bullied in school, and again, you didn't realize, but subconsciously it was impacting us, right? And so yes, our past, our history does influence the extent to which we feel deserving. It can make us feel like, you know, every time we perceive something positive about us, it's not real, right? And yes, you know, I know that this morning I'm using as an example, you know, people in a television reality show who don't feel that they're deserving of, you know, a sum of money that is being gifted to them, and they kind of push it back. But, you know, this state of undeservingness, I think I'm coining a new word here. Let's add that to the lexicon. Undeservedness, right? This state of undeservedness, I think, manifests itself in our lives, in all of our lives, in some profoundly significant way, but also some seemingly insignificant way as well. So for example, when you know, you feel like you're not good enough for promotion on the job, or you have a spouse or a partner, you feel that you're not good enough for them, or you might feel that you're not even good enough to attract a loving, supportive spouse. Those are, I would argue, some significant ways in which we feel that we are not worthy, we feel undeserving, right? You know, when you reject a thoughtful gift from a friend, or you reject the thoughtfulness of a total stranger offering you a seat on a bus or a train. Again, it's us demonstrating our sense of not being worthy, or our sense of not, you know, being deserving. And you know, what I think it is that all of us have this internal system, system of emotional checks and balances, right? And every experience that we have, every response that we have to our experiences influences that system, that internal system, and it calibrates it as well. You know, and so when we have success coming into our lives, when we have goodness flowing into our lives, right? If our system is calibrated too low, then it throws us off balance, man. it throws us off balance completely. And it makes us now want to reject the goodness and the success that's coming into our lives. And I think that's what we see playing out with these employees on the show, Undercover Boss. Their system is calibrated so low that once they start to be given an opportunity or be given more money than they ever thought they could have achieved or received at any one go, it throws them off balance completely. And then so they reject it, right? And so in a way they are right. Things like this don't happen to people who have whose internal system is calibrated so low. It's unfortunately, I think too many of us, we judge ourselves, we judge others, but more importantly, ourselves based on what we see as our contribution to our community or company or to society at large, right? And we hold ourselves to these haphazard and unrealistic standards. And in our minds, we have reasoned that if we haven't contributed much, then we don't deserve much. And that's unfortunate because our feelings of undeservedness, that word again, our feeling of not being worthy really shuts us off. It restricts any positive change that can come into our lives. Whether it's change that is being thrusted upon us, as in the show where the boss is offering goodness, offering positive change in their lives, but it also restricts that positive change that we could possibly create in our own lives as well, right? And so the key is to understand, I think, and once you understand what's happening, once you understand why you're feeling undeserved, I think you put yourself in a place where you can become more self-assured, and you can start having a more positive outlook, having a more positive view on your future, right? But look, I guess I should warn you, don't believe that, well, first of all, that you have to completely understand why it is that you feel undeserved. You don't have to dissect the thing down to its bare bones. You just need to start being cognizant of the fact that, hey, you know what? I am behaving in an undeserving, unworthy way. But once you've gone to that point, don't expect that everything automatically and suddenly is going to change. You're not going to all of a sudden become beautiful and rich and famous. In fact, it's not even about that. Being, starting to feel deserving, starting to feel worthy is really about developing, self-confidence and becoming self-assured and having a more positive outlook on your future. So stop judging yourself, stop beating yourself up. I think it's really important, and I want to challenge you. I want to encourage you. I want to exhort you to give yourself permission to live an exceptional life. Yeah, give yourself permission to live an exceptional life. Because look, all of us, we deserve happiness, we deserve success and love and great relationship and so on. And, that the feeling deserved is about having these good expectations for our lives, so happiness, success, contentment, all of that comes from one source, really. You know what that source is? It's you. It's a person you see looking in your mirror. You have to give yourself that permission. That success and so on comes from you, the most important source. It doesn't really matter what other people think. In fact, what other people think about you is none of your business. So stop Stop getting all up in other people's pea soup, so to speak. Stop getting, becoming overly concerned of what other people are thinking about you, because it has nothing to do with you. That's their business. You yourself have to focus on you. You're going to have, I tell you, thousands of opinions and a myriad of subjects throughout your lifetime. But the most important opinion you'll ever have is the one you have of yourself. And so I want to encourage you to focus on that. Focus on the opinion you have of yourself and stop worrying about what other people think. So stop belittling yourself, stop demeaning yourself, stop criticizing yourself, and give yourself permission, right? It's time to kind of recalibrate that internal system. It's time to change the story. It's time to start working on yourself, because the sheer fact that you exist, the sheer fact that you're walking and living and breathing on planet Earth means that you're worthy. So as I just said, give yourself permission, my friends, to live an exceptional life. Hopefully you can take that over the hump to finish the week strong, powerful, and deserving as you certainly are. Those were my thoughts this week. Looking forward to hanging out with you next week. And until then, keep on pushing.